Swine-Flu-Pandemic alert raised again by the World Health Organization. The World Health Organization has raised its pandemic alert for the swine flu to the second highest level now, meaning that it believes a global outbreak of the disease is imminent. The WHO director has declared the Phase 5 alert after consulting with flu experts from around the world. The decision could lead the global body to recommend additional measures to combat the outbreak, including for vaccine manufacturers to switch production from seasonal flu vaccines to a pandemic vaccine. All countries should immediately now activate their pandemic preparedness plans. The director told reporters in Geneva, "It really is all of humanity that is under threat in a pandemic." Again, it really is all of humanity that is under threat in a pandemic. And these are more signs. They used to call it pestilence. Worldwide pestilence. A Phase 5 alert means there is a sustained transmission among people in at least 2 countries. Once the virus shows effective transmission in 2 different regions of the world, a full pandemic outbreak, level 6, the highest level, would be declared, meaning a global epidemic of a new and deadly disease. They're just 1 level away from level 6. It is important to take this very seriously, the WHO director told a news conference. For the average person, the term pandemic doesn't mean they're suddenly at greater risk. But nonetheless, nearly a week after the H1N1 virus, or swine flu, was first identified in California and Texas, at least 100 cases, and rising, have now been confirmed in the U.S. across 11 states, and health officials have reported that a 23-month-old Mexican boy had died in Texas. But in Mexico, where up to 159 people have died from the virus, and at least 1,300 more are being tested for infection, people struggled with an emergency that has brought normal life virtually to a standstill over the past week. Yes, this is also a warning for the world. Things can happen very rapidly nowadays. Almost all cases outside of Mexico have had only light symptoms so far, and only a handful of cases have needed hospitalization. But officials warned more deaths could be expected as surveillance of the illness increases. It's still early, but it's getting late fast. Everything is timed. And once again, this is a warning to all the people of the world. Spain has reported the first case in Europe of swine flu in a person who had not been to Mexico, illustrating the danger of person-to-person transmission. It's just amazing how rapidly this has spread around the world, like never before. Flu viruses are notorious for rapid mutation and unpredictable behavior. Supposedly, theoretically, the world is better prepared for a flu pandemic than any time in history, the WHO director said. For the first time in history, we can track the pandemic in real time. As fear and uncertainty about the disease ricocheted around the globe, the director added that WHO, or the World Health Organization, did not recommend closing borders or foregoing pork, although in Egypt they have ordered all the swine, or the pigs, to be killed. And some countries have closed the borders. Cuba, for instance. No signs of slowing. Germany and Austria have also reported cases of the illness, bringing the number of affected countries to at least 9, and once again rising rapidly. Nations around the world are taking all sorts of precautions, some more useful than others. Britain closed a school after a 12-year-old girl was found to have the disease. And yes, again, Egypt slaughtered all its pigs, and the Central African nation of Gabon became the latest nation to ban pork imports, despite assurances that swine flu was not related to eating pork. In Mexico City, the epicenter of the epidemic, the mayor said Wednesday the outbreak seemed to be stabilizing, but it still appears to also be rising. In other words, the governments of the nations of the world, the officials, they don't really understand this new pandemic, do they? No, not completely. Nobody really can understand what's going on here. Although it is part of the signs of the times. God is warning us. These are warnings. Across Europe, Germany confirmed 3 swine flu cases and Austria 1, while the number of confirmed cases rose to 5 in Great Britain and 10 in Spain. The WHO conducted a scientific review on Wednesday to determine exactly what is known about how the disease spreads and how it affects human health and how it can be treated. And yes, it could take months to develop a vaccine. And, like I said, they don't really know what's going on here or how this is spreading, but it is spreading extremely rapidly. It also means that all the peoples and nations of the world are very interconnected now. The world has become very interconnected. We are all part of the same body in some kind of way. People are connected to one another, even if they don't realize it or know it. And this is a warning. And all this and all these are more signs of the end times transition days. Everything that can change must change. It must change rapidly. It's time to hit the reset button. for a reset. And all these are more signs happening every day all around the world.